Hello, friends, and welcome to the not really new but ever so slightly improved figure study, where we appreciate the form in Transformers. And I am super excited, not just because I get to talk about the last night Sqweeks, who is adorable, but because I finally sorted out this stupid auto color balancing issue that I've been dealing with. So hopefully there won't be any major tonal shifts between what you're seeing on camera, like every time my hand comes on and off the screen there. So hopefully from here on out, we won't have that kind of color balancing issue that I've been plagued by ever since I switched to the blue backdrop, which I like the blue backdrop, but man, was it wreaking havoc on my color balance. Anyway, Sqweeks. Sqweeks is a very cute little moped with not a really good place to store his gun, but the reason I have the gun out is because it's kind of necessary to how I have him displayed on the shelf. So we'll be taking a look at this a little bit later. Put that off to the side for now. And yeah, Sqweeks. I ended up finding Sqweeks to be much more enjoyable than I expected to when I first got my hands on him. He's very cute, fun to transform, a little bit tricky, just in figuring out the best way to get certain things to line up when going back and forth. But other than that, it's like very, very, very fun figure. I have one major problem with him in robot mode, which we'll get into when we get into robot mode. But as far as vehicle mode goes, this is good. I mean, I'm fine with the light blue. Not sure how accurate it is to the movie, don't care. But yeah, it's not a bad color. And there's not a whole lot of color differential here. You just got like pretty much blue across the board, a little bit of brown for the seat, and then teeny bits of gray for the handles, silver for the little headlighty bits, silver on the wheels, which I do always appreciate. And then the rest of it is the infamous brown smear. Oh, and also he does have silver for these little boosters back here that don't really do much, and the Autobot logo with 2 different serial numbers stamped on the side of this thing, because that's not horribly unsightly at all. But then we come to the main thing that a lot of people are bugged by with this figure, and I am too, is just this brown that's supposed to be like dirt and dust, but it just looks like someone haphazardly smeared brown paint, and yeah, it does kind of look like poo all over the figure, and I'm not a huge fan of how that turned out. Like, in some places it's fine, like in the front here where it's a bit more kind of evenly spread out and actually looks like they put some effort into brushing it on is fine. But then you got spots like here where it just, like, it doesn't continue up, it just gets cut off, and that makes it very noticeable that it's just a haphazard painting detail. And then on the side here, it's like, I mean, you can see the brush strokes and everything. It's just, really, guys, you couldn't just spend, you know, like half a second more on that. But yeah, I mean, I guess if it's an assembly line thing, but I don't know, this definitely could have been handled better. And I feel like the color would have been, maybe if they'd gone with something a little more coppery than brown, it wouldn't look so much like poo. But too late now. And I'm not a customizer, so I'm not going to spend any real time going into it. Anyway, he is a cute little scooter with this cute little kind of trailer here, which we can pop off. There we go. And we'll talk about this more in a minute. As for just the scooter, there we go. Nope, there we don't go. Are we gonna stand? Okay. So as for just the scooter is cute. As I've said, it's a nice shape for a kind of Vespa-ish scooter. And also, some nice brake detail on this one side of the wheel. A little bit of like, maybe that's a little bit of engine poking through there. I don't know. You don't really get it on the other side. You have the top of Sqweeks' head, which I found this is the best way for me to orient it because I don't have to worry about the head scraping up against the nice silver paint there. Yeah, it's not bad looking for a little scooter. It's even got like the little mesh grippy stuff for your feet on the bottom there, and I don't know exactly what that is. I think that, like, I'm not familiar with scooters or motorcycles, but I'm assuming that has something to do with throttle or engine turning on stuff. Yeah, there is some nice detail to this. And I do like the detail they have in these wheels, and I do love that it's painted silver, because I always do. Another thing I like about this is you get just a tiny bit of wiggliness to these handlebars, because those are obviously meant to look like eyes, and they totally do. And that means you can get ever so slightly expressive with the scooter mode, which is actually pretty darn neat. And he's down. Sqweeks is down again. Okay. Thought we had this sorted. Why are you suddenly looking all blown out? One moment, please. Let me see if I can adjust. Not entirely sure how much this is going to show up on camera. Don't know how problematic this might be, but we're going to go for it. So, it's a learning experience. I'm still getting used to this, but yeah, so have him off to the side. Really, Sqweeks? Really? And now we can take a look at his trailer, which, as I said, I don't really like the way they applied the paint on this, but it's a nice little compact box that unfolds into a really weird but kind of effective little, like, repair bay / battle platform. And what's kind of messed up about this... No, you stay. You stay. What's kind of messed up about this is, like, the paint job on this is actually a little bit better and just nicer in terms of looking like some kind of dirty, rusty thing than the actual paint job on Sqweeks himself. So yeah, this is apparently where most of the paint went, and I mean, it's a neat option. I think it's cool that he comes with his own little, like, repair bay playset, but it's just like, that's an awful lot that went into something that is essentially one big accessory. I feel like they probably could have done a little bit more with the figure itself, but it does look nice. There's lots of nice little details in there, because they're really good with the molded details in this line, and I appreciate that greatly. And I also appreciate this mechanical arm thing that's like, not super posable, but posable enough. You could totally, as I'm sure everybody's done by now, you could park Sqweeks up there and have the arm, like, working on him, which is cool. Oh, really, Sqweeks? Really? Really? Why? Why are you so... You're bad, Sqweeks. Okay. And we have the giant red toolbox, which is where I've been storing his added accessories, which is my main gripe about Sqweeks. It's just so much in the way of accessories and so much that you have to worry about storing that it just gets kind of annoying. Like an entire arm. You can store an entire arm. You've got his little bike handle armlets. I feel like, I don't know, I hate having extraneous accessories that I have to worry about. I do like that they can store in the toolbox, thank goodness, because then I don't have to worry about losing them, but it's still kind of annoying. Let's move this out of the way. Really? This entire video is just going to be a little moped falling over. Yeah. Stay. Stay. Alright, let's do these size comparisons and then do the transformation thing. How about it? Here we have Sqweeks next to our standard of Samus. Next to that Samus amiibo. And here is Sqweeks next to a Titan's Return Deluxe. A Titan's Return Deluxe that I do intend on doing a video of in the near future. Because that's the repaint of Cup that turns him into Orion Pax, as I'm sure everyone watching this video already knows, and it's pointless for me to bring it up. But I did it anyway, because that's how I do. I swear, Sqweeks. Enough of this nonsense. I think we've drawn it out long enough, and Sqweeks just doesn't want to stand. So, let's do the transforming thingy. Oh, that didn't take long. It's a nice kind of breath of fresh air compared to some of those third-party figures I've been making videos of recently. So, Sqweeks, can you tell what my first problem is with this robot mode? Or what my main problem is? Yeah, I don't like how his hands, in whatever form you want to assume them, have to be added separately. I especially don't like the fact that his hands are a part of... Where's the thing? There's the thing. I especially don't like the fact that his hands are just, like, tucked away. Like, you just have to basically keep them out of sight in vehicle mode. Like, it just... Yeah, so that one thing that just drives me up the wall is the hands, and it also factors into this, how he's got handlebars sticking out of his neck. Not into that, and I honestly don't understand why. Like, these spots look thick enough. Like, these bits right here, they do look thick enough that I feel like they could have made it so that these stored here. So then you could still have the handles in vehicle mode. Yeah, there's still little parts forming, but like these could pop out and go here, and then you wouldn't have the frickin' bolts sticking out of his neck. I don't understand why they didn't do that. I don't know. Maybe it's just a budget thing. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that would have needed to be a lot thicker in order to have the pull-out handles. I don't know. All I know is I don't like it. And then you can, of course, replace his little handlebar arm with a bigger kind of scrap arm, which is fine. Like, I don't mind the asymmetricalness of it, the fact that it's significantly bigger. And I honestly don't mind these as hands. I just don't like the fact that you gotta store them. And I don't like the fact that these stick out of his neck. Yeah. But, like, that arm is fine. The thing that bugs me about this arm is the fact that it's meant to hold this gun, but it doesn't really hold it very well. Like, it doesn't take much at all for that to come out. It doesn't feel very solid. Anyway, let's talk about these arms a little bit more. I am not a fan of using this arm. I usually keep it tucked away in the toolbox, but I do like the look of it. It's a neat kind of... I don't know, it's almost like a mechanical Guyver arm type. I mean, I know it's not the Guyver. It doesn't really look like the Guyver, but it's got that kind of like biomechanical look to it, even though this one is definitely going more on the mechanical side than the bio side. It's a neat look. I feel like it probably would look neater on a different character. And then the big gun is just guns galore, and this I'm fine with. And I honestly feel like this doesn't even need to be there, since it's just not doesn't hold into that hand very well. I feel like they could have gotten away with not bothering with that. But you can... I can line this up so you can see what I'm doing. You can peg it into Sqweeks' forearm, and then his arm is just a gun. And this is, again, why I feel like the other arm is kind of unnecessary, because it works so much better having the gun as an arm versus having a big arm holding a big gun. I mean, fine, options, whatever, but just that looks so much better. And then, of course, we still have his little thingy here, and I just toss that in there because it's just long enough to fit. And then throw his little extra arm in there, close it up, and now we don't have to worry about it anymore. And the last little bit of things I like to do with Sqweeks, just turn all this around, fold all this back up, fold it all back up, and come on, in you go. Come on, why aren't you pegging in? There we go. Up and down, and then just pull these back. And there's this thing right up here that will peg onto his back there. And then you have Sqweeks with a big kind of... move him back a little bit because he's actually a little bit taller now. There we go. With like his little backpack of rockets and whatever. And I like that. I like the cute little guy with the heavy ordnance. Another thing that I actually think is kind of fun with Sqweeks is the fact that he's actually very reminiscent of Nugget from Rock Lords. I mean, just, yeah, if you look at them side by side, it's like he's got the big circular eyes. He's kind of short and stubby, almost a little portly. Even has a little rocket booster backpack thing going. I'm not entirely sure if it was intentional, but he just is very, very, very evocative of Nugget. And I'm okay with that. I thought Nugget was a neat little toy. But yeah, so anyway, let's pop this back on, because why not? Getting down to the actual look of Sqweeks, as I pop everything out of alignment and ruin the entire thing. Okay. So, I do like the look of Sqweeks. It's really just the arms that bug me. I'm fine with the paint job in robot mode because most of the bad paint distribution is kind of hidden away. The top of his head, I feel like, could have been done better because it's just sort of like someone whoosh, and that was it. There's no real, there's nothing special going on up there. Molding wise, it's nice though. I like how there's like these pits and dings all over it. Makes him look a little bit kind of worn, which I know is the point. And the headlight eyes are nice with the silver and everything like that, but I think it was Emgo who was saying it. If not, I'm sorry, I don't remember who said it, and if it is, then I agree with him that they probably could have done, like, make the translucent plastic for the eyes like a different shade, like maybe a slightly yellow shade or a slightly orange shade to really make them look like headlights that have become eyes. Or they could have painted the inside, which is something I've actually been thinking of doing because it's something where I don't even have to worry too much about screwing stuff up because it's just like put some paint in there and then you're done. But like they could have painted this a little bit so then that color would shine through the clear plastic. And so there's a little bit of molded detail on the inside of his helmet. Yeah. Aside from the eyes, I'm fine with just the overall sparse paint. Like the dirtiness is fine. I do like that you still get those nice silver wheels. And if you use the backpack, you get the silver guns. I'm not 100% sure why they decided to make these able to move around independently of each other, because I've yet to find a reason for it. Because all they do is move like this way, they can't turn or anything like that, so independent movement seems pointless, and it just kind of makes it annoying to shift them around sometimes. So yeah, I feel like I'm doing nothing but complain about this guy, but I actually do really like him. He's a cute little just monster with weapons everywhere. It's neat. I actually do really like him. And before I do that thing where I awkwardly close out by reiterating everything I've said a million times, let's do those size comparisons again. So here we have our Amiibo and our Titan's Return Deluxe. So yeah, Sqweeks is definitely on the smaller side in terms of deluxe figures, but he does come with an enormous accessory pack that doubles as sort of a makeshift garage, which I'm still not 100% convinced this added bit was necessary, but it's there. Not much to do about it now. Close this up again, get that out of the way. I feel like Sqweeks is neat enough to stand on his own, but if this was all we got as a deluxe, I'm sure a lot of people would be kind of mad about that. But, I mean, he's very cute, and he looks a little bit sparse in the paint department just because of those eyes. If those eyes were painted or the plastic was a different shade, I think this would end up looking a little bit more not like it would end up looking a little bit less like they just didn't bother painting stuff. Still, he is a cute little callback to Rock Lords, which is probably not an intentional callback, but I do think he is very cute. So anyway, that has been my look at Transformers The Last Knight Deluxe Class. I hate doing these. Sqweeks. He is... I ended up enjoying him way more than I thought I would. I got him mostly because he was something that I couldn't find at the time, and also they had Steel Bane, so I decided I'll order two at the same time. But yeah, he is very cool, and if you find him, then I would recommend getting him, because he's neat. It's just those freaking Frankenstein bolt handlebars sticking out of the neck. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching. As per usual, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Any combination of those three would make me a happy Rob, and remember, pooey art... unintentionally pooey, is more than meets the eye.